Hey, what's up guys, it's Sal here, and this is my unboxing and review of the Oppo F11 Pro with a pop-up camera. Now, I've used the F11 Pro for the longest time now, a little over 30 days, and this video is a summation of my experience with this device. As always, I'll talk about the pros and cons with this device, so stick around till the end to find out everything about it. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Stands out for me with the F11 Pro, apart from the pop-up camera and that gorgeous dusk tone back and the ridiculously fast fingerprint scanner, I think a lot of things stand out here. But right out of the gate, the display is a 6.5-inch 1080p by 2340p display. It's an LCD IPS display, PPI 396. It's very viewable outdoors, and the colors lean towards the higher part of the saturation scale. It looks very good, and there is no notch. Anyway, I enjoyed viewing videos on this device, gaming, overall using this device, and it felt refreshing. And the fact that there is no notch makes me like it even more. The chain is quite uneven with the notch side, and there's just a little bit of screen bleeding at the edge, especially when you're using it in white background and the screen is set to the brightest. The forehead of the phone is quite small, and it also looks good. It's where the earpiece is, although it's not a stereo sound system, so it's a bit of a bummer. To the right, we've got the power button with the green indent at the hybrid SIM slot for either 2 nano SIMs or 1 SIM card and an SD card. At the bottom, we've got the headphone jack, microphone port, the charging port, and the speaker. On the left side is just the volume rocker keys, and on the top is where we've got the pop-up camera, which is a 16 megapixel f2.0 sensor, an IR sensor, and another microphone port for stereo audio recording. On the back of the phone is where we've got the dual camera setup. Most manufacturers put the flash at the bottom, but here it's at the top. It's got the main 48 megapixel Sony Exmor RS lens that is on the OnePlus 7 Pro with an aperture of 1.7 and a secondary camera that is 5 megapixels with an aperture of f2.4, which is for depth sensing. More on the cameras later in the video. Also in the box, you've got the necessary documentation, your SIM ejector tool, a case, the earpiece, which isn't the type that goes into your ear, the thick charging cable, and the VOOC charging adapter, which we'll talk about much later in this video as well. As far as this device goes, we've got 6 GB of RAM on here, quite substantial for an Android device. Multitasking was pretty good for me because I could return to apps I opened before and they would load up where I left off. I have 128 GB of storage, which is more than enough for me, and I've still got about 97 GB free, so I'm not locked in. We're running Android 9 Pie on here, plus the processor being a 2.5 GHz octa-core Helio P70 Mali G72 processor makes everything run smoothly. You can customize some things on the notification bar, like showing the speed of the internet, the number of notifications or apps, and a few more little things. The font size on here can be customized as well, and there are more options like night shift to conserve the battery and how the screen affects your eyes at night, so it's not too bright. This, in conjunction with auto brightness function, helps to save your battery and also helps save your eyes while using the device. Almost everything is pretty much customizable with the icons and layouts, and if you want more customizability, you can download something like the Nova launcher and add a theme to your device. But I'm using the stock live wallpaper and it looks quite cool, although it's not so great on the battery, especially if you set the screen timeout to a longer time. Also guys, Oppo lets you customize the pop-up camera sound if you want, and you can select between 3 sounds that they provide for you, like technology, mechanical, and musical. I think it's cool. Oh, and if you're ever wondering how you can take a screenshot on this device, I tried pressing the power button and the volume down button, but nothing happened. So there are 2 ways you can do this. You can either press and hold those 2 buttons and you will get a screenshot, or you can take a screenshot by swiping down your 3 fingers. And yeah, you have a screenshot. With regards to unlocking methods here, you get your normal passcode lock, and for biometric systems you've got face unlock, which was actually quite fast. When you swipe up, it immediately opens the pop-up camera and unlocks instantly. But guys, the fingerprint scanner is really fast. Like, I can just tap my finger on it and boom, it's unlocked. Like, it's really that fast, and I really like it. Although the face unlock is fast as well, it's not really secure, and Oppo says it that someone who looks like you can actually unlock your device, so I may not lean towards recommending this as much. Oppo also went all in on security for this device by allowing you to block screenshots or screen records, and even protecting each individual app. I have quite a lot to say about the battery life on this guy here, but first off, if you're buying the Oppo F11 Pro for battery, yes, you can go for it, but hear me out first. With regards to the specs, it's a 4000 mAh battery on here, quite large enough for this device. And I took this device to a shoot. My main SIM was inside everything. I used it for phone calls, I used it for texting, I used it for browsing social media, I used it for Twitter, Instagram, a lot of YouTube. Basically, my normal use, which was a bit on the heavy side, and I even used it as a hotspot for some of my main devices. I was able to go for a full day sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't make it till the end of the day. Because of how random my usage was, I could almost get half of the day before I could charge, and sometimes it lasts till the next day at a low percentage. Guys, at 1%, I used this device as a hotspot for my laptop and another phone, and it lasted up to 15 more minutes. That being said, this phone charges really fast. The Oppo F11 Pro adapter has this VOOC rapid or fast charge, and this adapter has a chip inside that speeds up the charge at the beginning and then gradually slows it down until it gets to 100%. My charging speed went something like this. From 0 to 54%, it took exactly 25 minutes, and then after 15 minutes it went to 72%, so it took a little over an hour to get to 100%. And this was actually the fastest charging I've experienced on an Android device. One day I randomly just popped this phone in with the charger plugged in, and I went to get something to eat downstairs, and I walked for a few minutes, and when I got back upstairs, boom, the phone was in 100%. In my mind I was like, this thing is charging like a stopwatch. So yeah, battery life and charging on this device, 100% recommended. Now, after all my praise of the fast charger, I felt a little bit let down because it wasn't a USB-C port. I don't really know how to feel about the lack of the USB-C port, but it already charges fast, so I'm not mad, I guess. You've also got Bluetooth 4.2 LE, that's for low energy consumption, and there's no mention of whether both SIMs are 4G enabled, but I was able to browse well at 4G speeds on both of these devices, and it doesn't support the popular Glow 4G band. With regards to sound, there are features that improve the quality for headphones inserted, and as far as the sound difference, it's not really noticeable. However, when a headphone is plugged in, you can easily customize something like the equalizer however you want, and you can get a varying range of sounds, whether you want it to be heavy on the vocals or whether you want it to be heavy on the instruments. And in custom settings, you can just move everything or boost everything up by 6 decibels. The speaker on the body of the phone is downward firing, and here's what the F11 Pro sounds like. The back camera gives you 3 main modes: portrait mode, which works with the smaller 5-megapixel lens on the back, photo mode, which shoots interesting HDR, and video mode, which can record up to 1080p. For both modes, you get up to 2 times optical zoom and a maximum of 4 times digital zoom. When you click the hamburger menu, you are open to 6 more modes: night mode, panorama mode, expert mode to control shutter speed, white balance, aperture, and exposure. And what I like about the expert mode is that it also has an auto option for you to see how everything really works with the numbers. You also get to take time lapse, slow motion, and use Google Lens to copy text, products, plants, books, and barcodes. The front camera also has the same 3 major settings for video, photo, and portrait mode, and it's at the lower 16-megapixel camera. The portrait mode on the front camera gives you a lot of customizability, from face smoothing to face thinning to chin adjustment down to the nose size. This is some serious business. In the menu option, unlike the back camera that we've got 6, here we've got 2 options for panorama mode and time lapse. I'm trying to imagine how you would take a selfie time lapse. But I think it's actually going to be great if you put the phone on a tripod though. The photos I took on this device were quite good. The selfies were really sharp, both in portrait mode and the normal mode, and the dynamic range on this device is also something of note as well. I liked how the colors were represented on this phone, and I also liked how the skies were really blue and popped. I didn't really like the portrait mode for moving subjects, but then again, it seems like we can't have it all if it's not an actual camera, if you get what I mean. Night mode shots with the actual night mode on the camera is also very distinguishable from the normal mode, and you can really tell which is better. Video quality was also very good. I found the camera to be very stable and the colors again were really well represented. As far as the front camera for video, here's how it performed. So this is the front-facing camera video quality of the Oppo F11 Pro. Do let me know what you think about this video quality that you see right now. And it's a 16 megapixel f2.0 aperture camera that shoots in 1080p at the max at 30 frames per second. And it also has this thing I always complain about in my video, you know, the exposures being too bright, and you can't also adjust it as well in video here. You're kind of stuck with the exposure that just balances out your face and exposes everything else in the background. Do let me know what you think about the video quality and the sound quality in the comment section down below. About the pop-up camera of the F11 Pro, because it's a moving part, I think it's something that people are going to be worried about. And there's this drop detection that shuts down the camera, the pop-up camera immediately and goes back inside. I think people who want this device would not only take a close look at, you know, sand particles essentially touching it, but then again, because of this drop feature, I think it's a great feature on this device to have. There's some other pop-up cameras from other smartphone manufacturers that we've seen that have this drop detection feature. I think it's a good addition to have right here. Dropping the phone was smartly detected and the camera was retracted. Continue using the camera. So that's pretty much it for my Oppo F11 Pro review. This device cost $139K, that's like $386 US. It might seem steep, but for less than $400, I might have to say that there might be better options out there, but there are some interesting features on this device that makes it worth it. I wish it was a little lower in price, maybe 100K or less, and it would be a huge competitor to something like this Samsung A50, but this is on another level. What are your thoughts based on what you've seen so far? Do drop a comment if you have any questions, and hit the like button if you found this video useful or helpful, and do subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.